Let me retitle this. I think we're up to number 9 now.
Okay.
I think. Anyway, number 9. Icons.
Okay, so what are we covering in this one?
Icons.
Icons. Okay.
Yep. The iconography for these factions is pretty important. Whatever icon or logo we come up with for each of these factions is going to appear in the background of the starter deck cards, or in any place where we need to reference that faction, like on the map, on the map. We'll need to identify factions for locations and things for other purposes in the game. So each faction needs an icon that can be singular color, so that it can be colored to the player, or potentially dual color if it's just for the faction. We're not 100% sure about that yet.
Okay.
But we had some ideas on what the icon for each faction might look like.
Okay.
Are you going to flop right there? Okay, he's on the table now. You can be right there. That's fine. So for corporate, it seems like it makes sense if the name Monocron is like a main feature of the logo. Because a lot of those like 80s tech companies, like a lot of their logos was just based around the name, as an identity. And kind of following that 80s tech inspired look with, sort of a polygonal or rectangular shape, repeating stripes and lines, playing with block letters, things like that. Did you have any specific ideas about like what Monocron might look like?
I'm always drawn to the big sort of buildings, kind of, the silhouettes of that, when you see the towering sort of, buildings that are in like a skyline, or, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm always drawn toward the iconography of like the video companies that would put out VHS tapes during the 1980s.
I was literally going to say production companies.
Yeah. Something like, I don't know why, but that's like something that immediately comes to mind.
Okay. Yeah. It sounds like you've got an idea that you can kind of play with on that. The Bionetics, the first thing that my brain went to was like Vitruvian Man, or like a variation on it, because it's like, it's literally body modification is their main thing. So their logo or their icon should probably have something to do with that, right?
Yeah. But how small of an icon are we talking?
Right. Vitruvian Man, we can't put a lot of detail into this, so it's got to be simplified. So there's got to be something else we can do that like maybe similar. Doing a quick image search, a lot of iconography for cybernetic in general has to do with arms and limbs, and like prosthetic companies use like a running person or like what looks like just a vectorized prosthetic arm or something. So like a body part makes sense. But maybe something with the face or the head.
Okay.
So if I search for like cybernetic logo, it comes up with a bunch of different things, but like a lot of it is like circuitry, lots of lines and dots and circles, in an interesting pattern. Hexagons come up a lot as like, technology. I see some logos that have like an eye, and that's kind of interesting, but I don't know, like the eye to me says like, vision and sight. And that's not exactly what we're going for. I'm going to try cyber logo and see if instead of cybernetic. Okay, a lot of these are cyber security and cyber defense. Lots of, again, circuit patterns, repeating lines that is kind of like an overall silhouette that's broken up into lines and shapes. Like, hang on, let me pull one up and I'll show you. Like here's one that's like, it's like supposed to be a shield, but it looks like a maze of lines, and kind of that circuit looking thing.
Okay.
So that's kind of, I feel like that's getting closer to what we might want. I'm going to look up prosthetic logos, not lugs. Go. I typed lug. Okay, yeah. So prosthetic logos, a lot of them are legs and feet, lots of running figures, lots of hands. Here's one that's got like a brain in it. I know I said like the head earlier. Maybe the head is where I need to get back to. like trying to figure out something with the head. If you guys have ideas, you just say so.
No, not yet. I don't.
This one's tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bionetics is definitely going to be tricky. That's for sure.
Because, just showing a body part, you have to be able to make the image prosthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the general size of the smallest icon representative? I'm really freaking close to the camera.
I can't see you, so
I just scared the...
I looked up and his face was like the entire screen.
it's fantastic.
What's funny is it just scared the shit out of myself. I was like... oh, crap. Yeah, so tiny icons.
How big? Like quarter inch? What are we talking?
Yeah, what's the size? I mean, minimal.
It depends on the final size for the map, but we could be looking at like somewhere between quarter and half an inch. Like maybe half inch.
Okay. It's a pretty good size icon. You sure you don't mean quarter?
Yeah.
Might be between quarter.
Okay, so somewhere in the...
Quarter might be the absolute smallest.
Okay. Because something, and this was one idea I had just thinking about the name Bionetic, and it's breaking down the root words of it, was a DNA helix that was merging over into circuitry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's do
Evolution.
Yeah.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Human evolution. Well, no, not human evolution, because that's... No,
no, it is.
Human
yeah.
evolution. Human evolution. Because it usually goes like, from like to man and then like a whole bunch of iterations of it, right? But maybe evolution logo will give us some ideas, because DNA strand sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Evolution logo isn't showing us a whole lot, but there is this one really cool one from under human evolution logo, and it's like this side profile of the face that like deteriorates into circuitry.
Yeah.
Well, look closer. Well, let's see. Yeah.
Is there a way to do like when I think evolution or like metamorphosis, I think like
Metamorphosis.
yeah, like kind of like
God.
have like one wing be like normal and the other one be like circuitry or
Right?
something.
Yeah, so just doing a quick search for Metamorphosis logo, everything's a butterfly.
The cocoon, yeah.
That's the
Because that's the thing, yeah. There are some interesting iterations of like, of kind of a techie looking butterfly kind of thing. No, not that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
or even like Rebirth with the Phoenix kind of.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think these are all good ideas. I think that Mario could play with some of these. Hi.
Cyberpunk.
Oh man, no! I just found something really interesting. I found a collection by an artist that he calls it Metamorphosis, but it's like regular logos and stuff that he's like transformed really interestingly. I'm gonna send you the link to this, but it's like a really bunch of like weird and interesting shapes.
Oh yeah, look at that. That is cool.
And something about this style like Bionetics to me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna send you a link to this gallery just for inspiration in case any of this kind of
It looks like a lot of the tattoos you would see.
yeah for sure. Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah, I think we've got kind of a direction to go on that one. The Dregs, because they are outcasts, they're tribal mentality, individual settlements. It's kind of hard to make like a unifying logo for all of them. But maybe if we can just get the feeling across, it'll be good. So like something that's kind of rough, kind of tribal inspired. Something that you could hand paint fairly easily so that you could be identified or identifiable as part of that faction. Like if you want to put this logo on the side of your ship, you should be able to paint it by hand pretty easily. So
I originally had an idea, and I didn't know how this was going to go, but I thought it was a little on the nose, and especially considering their color options, green or lime, was of a leaf, but where there was the vein pattern in the center, that was an extended hand, which was, sort of a reference back to them being agriculturalists and nomadic tribesmen that create things.
I like that, but since they exist in the wastes,
Yeah, that's kind of
that kind of does make green hard to use because it is so ubiquitous with nature. But what about snake tile? Something reptilian that could potentially exist in a desert climate. If
still
it's
see those in deserts and wastelands. Yeah, sure.
yeah. Yeah, and we could still kind of like get across some of your idea, Mario, with like if it was more like an Ouroboros, where it's like where it feels cyclical or feels circular or spiral. You know, like it's either it's like, you know, the idea behind them recycling and restoring, you know, the cycle of nature, like. Well, whatever you want to attribute to it, but it...
Right. Well, and that could even...
Dude,
I get where you're going with that.
That could even be...
I've always liked the Ouroboros.
An additional, you know, backstory aspect to them that maybe they have had stories told of a time when it was green. When, you know, so that's part of the hierarchy in their legends or what they talk about. So they still carry something.
They're trying to get back to that.
Which could even be their obsession with trying to use what they find and basically bring that back, you know.
I like that.
I like that.
So I've got two ideas. One, taking something like a snake or something circular and looking at a lot of older civilizations and how they simplified that for drawing and painting. The other idea I had was potentially using something from the 20th century. Like, you remember in the newer-ish Planet of the Apes? Not the trilogy one.
Oh, the Tim Burton
the one with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Like there is what was it, the name of the ship or something? But there was like part of the name was like worn off, and so they named it wrong because you could only see part of the sign or whatever. Like,
oh, that sounds like V'ger from friggin' Star Trek.
Yeah. Like something from the 20th century that we can sort of butcher or bastardize in like, oh, I found this thing, and oh, that's such a cool like thing, and then they like adopt it and sort of repurpose it for their own identity.
I kind of like that because that's a reinterpretation of like that is akin to like when the very early paleontologists found the very first iguanodon, and they assembled it on all fours, and they put the thumb spike on its nose to look like a dragon, and you know, and it was completely wrong. You know, that's not at all what it looked like. So I could see that. That would be an interesting take on them too. That maybe there's some misappropriation with how they find things, because my God, the worship of a toaster oven would be hilarious.
Or like, it just like two examples came to me, like Target. Like the bullseye of Target, what if it was like broken and kind of hanging weird, so it's not a perfect bullseye anymore? But they call it like Tet or something, you know, because like some of the letters are missing. Or like Walmart has that new like almost flower-like logo where it's the yellow petals, you know. And if like some of the petals were missing, and just kind of like play with that a little bit, or shift things weird, and then if you imagine playing a game of telephone where you had to draw the same thing over and over from memory until it just kind of looks like it. Like, there's something about that makes me go, ooh, that would feel so authentic.
It really would. That's a really cool idea. Which, in turn, ends up influencing how they reassemble things and what they use things for, you know?
For sure. Cool. Okay, I think we have a couple different directions
really
you can go with
neat.
That one. So that'll be cool. I think next on our list is we have some more icons to talk about with skills and some other basic things that we can run through. Are you good for that?
Sure.